Welcome back to another Talk Dragon Tuesday with RPW, your War Dragons weekly news headquarters. So we're going to be talking about the past event, the coming event, and some other things that you might need to know for this week. Now, the first thing is, of course, the Team Gauntlet was last week, and I really hope everybody had a good time. If for some reason you found yourself struggling in the Team Gauntlet, be sure to check out some of the guides out there. I have one in my event guide that you can definitely check out. And I know that like Odin and Skyline and a few others have done some as well that you can check out. So be sure to search up a Team Gauntlet so you're ready for the next one. All right, so this week will be the Fortification event. Now remember, guys, do not go and get you a bunch of points by making extra towers. It's not worth it. And of course, do not overlevel yourself. I know it's easier to pull out those shards and continue building up the defensive towers on your base, but remember, every time you do this, it's going to increase your level. So be sure to minimize doing that and work on stuff like your storage hut, your builder's huts, your castle incubators, and so forth. I know it's a little challenging, but that would be your better option. Another thing is, a lot of us in Platinum are now in Atlas, so you're going to be able to actually dip in to your castle and utilize your lumber resources during the fortification. Now, as leadership, you really need to decide who is going to get first dibs of all that. Now, me personally, I have put out to my team that this is only going out to anybody under a certain level, so that number one, they get the resources they need, and number two, that way they can upgrade smart to get those points versus, like I said before, just building anything. So that is what our team is doing. However, if you're not limited in your storage, you've got, masses and masses of areas for your lumber, then be sure to, customize that to what your team might need. Now, if you're overleveled and you feel that you're overleveled, remember, stick with upgrading things in your main island. And of course, you can also always do your farms and your lumber mills if they're ready. All right, guys, so outside of that, there are a few tips that I go over in one of my tip videos, but I also go over some stuff in my Fortification Guide 101 video from the past, so be sure to go check that out if you need any kind of guides. I, of course, want to thank everyone who supports my channel here, and the best way you can support my channel is by hitting that subscribe button, liking, hitting the bell for notifications, and of course, sharing my videos. And this is, of course, going to be extremely important if you have any lower level players on your team. I really am trying to get out video information so that you have less work with your lower level players, so be sure to share it with them. To mention, every week I give out a $20 in-game pack, and why not have it be someone on your team? This week's winner for the $20 in-game pack was actually already chosen today. We're going to be going over that just here shortly. But last week I had basically gave you an option to enter into this week's contest. So if you have not done that, you will not be entered. Now, in order to have entered, you had to enter a submission for the...
What did you say? Best chat bloopers in War Dragons. What?
So be sure to stick around because we will be giving the announcement today as to who won. And I think I got 3 entries, so it's going to be a pretty easy judge. And I think you guys are going to really enjoy the entries that came in. So before we go into that, I do have a special guest for you guys this week. We are going to be discussing some Atlas stuff for beginners, some information that, I think is going to be very relevant, that I think many of you are going to enjoy hearing. Now, if for some reason you have something you offer everybody out there, whether it's some information on a website or, YouTube videos, live streams, whatever, or you just want to talk about the game, I have opened up my YouTube channel special guest spots to anyone and everyone. So be sure to hit me up online so that we can schedule you an interview. All right, so let's jump into today's special guest. It's actually pronounced Kavoth, and he has some experience in Atlas and is going to come in and share some info with us. And hey guys, we've got a special guest here on my RPW channel. I actually have a very nice friend. His name is Kavoth, and he has a lot of Atlas experience and wanted to come out and share some tips with you guys. Welcome to the show.
Hey there, pleasure to be here.
I really appreciate you coming in and helping all of us newbies out here in Atlas.
No problem at all.
All right, so what would you say is the most common mistake or tip that you seem to have to share with others?
Probably the thing that trips up most teams is it's a far more political game than people perhaps expect. People treat it like you go out and hunt resources, they go and attack whoever they want, and they don't necessarily think any further than that, like we do in the main game. The biggest tip I can give people to keep yourself in the game and to perform well is to get to know your neighbours. Speak to them. Please don't attack them. And just get on good terms with them. Set up challenges with them, arrange hunts together. Just get on good terms and be the neighbour you would like to have. And chances are they're going to want you to stick around, and they'll even defend you if you have any troubles.
Oh, wow. That's a very good tip. That is really a good tip. So it's not like going in and having a bunch of wars to climb to the top.
Exactly. Let's be honest. If an alliance of 5 people comes against one team, it's going to be a very rare team that's going to be able to survive that. However, if you've got the support of your neighbours, they know that you're a good person to have around. They know you're not going to attack them, you're not going to cause them grief, and they can have a bit of fun with you. If someone wants to come and kick you out, they're more likely to think, hang on a minute, I don't really want that to happen.
Right. So what about attacking other castles?
With attacking other castles, if it's a PvP event in the main game, you can't attack other players' castles unless they've chosen to drop the shield. I'll be honest, unless you're looking to take a castle, I strongly would advise everyone to never attack a castle, especially for glory. A couple of reasons. One, if you attack someone at the home, they're not going to like it. If someone came to your house and attacked you, it's going to mean a lot more than if they attacked you while you're in no man's land. Everyone knows if you go to no man's land, it's to fight. It's like you're attacking a normal game. You're not going to step on any toes. If you attack someone at home, you might, depending on how irritable the person happens to be.
Gotcha. Okay.
And there's also one other reason why you shouldn't attack someone at a castle is you actually perform worse. When you have a castle, you have the fort bonus that gives the Primarchs on there a combat bonus, which means if you attack them, you're actually losing more troops than you would if you'd attacked them on no man's land.
Okay. Yeah, I noticed that whenever a Primarch was on ours, even though it was a lot lower level, it was 100% for me.
Yes, if you're ever attacked on your castle, you will always get 100% of the glory. The people attacking you don't, and if you have a fort, the higher level the fort, the stronger your Primarch gets. Your Primarch gets extra attack and defense depending on your level of fort, if it's on your castle. So if you're going onto someone else's castle, they get that bonus, which means that you lose more troops.
Wow. Okay. So what about, how do we know if, like, for example, there's the blockades and then there's, the little roads or whatever. Are those going to prevent easy movement to bring those to our castles, other players?
Yes, they will. During non-PvP events, yes, they will. If there is a big purple sphery bubbly thingy, if that is around your castle, you can move straight through it, no problem at all. No one is blocked. If it's the red ring, so the big red circle, rather than the sphere, you will get blocked if you move through it. A strategy for picking a castle location is making it so that there's no neutral or no man's land that's directly attached to it. That means people have to go through other castles to get to you.
Got you.
So probably the cheapest land, probably the lowest quality land is the stuff that is directly attached to neutral and directly attached to no man's land, because people can fly directly to that and then attack you. If they have to go through 3 or 4 castles to get there, if it's a random glory hunter, chances are they're not going to be bothered.
Okay. So if we want to, let's say, move from one part of the map, because I know that the new part of the map up at the very top is, there's not a lot of safe zones, a lot of friendly zones. So is there a chance that we get trapped on our way down to friendly zones in the south and how would we best get our way through if we did?
With regard to travel, it's a bit different if it's top side of the map to bottom side of the map because there's no neutral zones on the top side. If you're flying directly from a neutral zone, no man's land or owned castle to another neutral zone, owned land or allied castle or no man's land, you can fly there with no issues. It's when you actually start crossing into castles that the issues happen. So let's say, for example, you're sitting on your castle and you zoom in. You can see little roads. In order to travel, like to hop across the castles to where you want to go, you have to follow that land if you're going through enemy castles. I've probably explained this really poorly.
I'm getting what you're saying. Go ahead.
So if you zoom in, the trick is, let's say you're looking to attack a person 3 castles across. You have to follow the path that's set on the land itself. And that means you have to cross through each castle on the way. If any of those castles have a blockade, you will get stuck there until you're killed off or until the timer expires. And that's if you're not flying to a owned castle or allied castle or neutral zone.
Okay, so that includes allied castles then, that allows you to go directly to it without any blockades or...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. If you're going to assist an alliance member, you can absolutely fly directly to their castle regardless of what's around them. If you wanted to go to the castle next door to them, you'd then get caught in the blockade. Got
you. So in that case, you would want to fly to your alliance and then go next door.
Yes, exactly that. If you want to attack a castle or something, you want to fly to the nearest neutral zone, owned zone, or allied castle, or something like that, and then move the shortest distance you can to get to your target.
Makes perfect sense. How long have you been playing Atlas?
Atlas, I was an officer in one of the lottery teams. So when the original set of platinum teams went in, we were one of the ones accepted at that point.
Okay. And what was your biggest struggle as, because, I mean, there was already established diamonds and sapphires there. So what was your biggest struggle when you came in?
It's probably going to be herding the cats. So when you get into Atlas for the first time, let's be perfectly honest, no one has any idea what they're doing. Everyone's trying all their own different things. Everyone's going in all different directions. People are attacking left, right and centre. Trying to get everyone onto the same page and trying to get people that learn in all different ways to kind of understand how it all works and how it plays differently. That was the biggest struggle, and I think one of the most important things you can do is take it slow. If you're new to Atlas, don't rush in. Don't go guns blazing for everything. There's no rush. Take your time. Get your team comfortable with it. If you know full well, let's say you're going for a land grab at some point, if you know full well that your team is on the same page as you and you can trust that they're going to know exactly what they need to do, you're going to have a far easier time than if you have to micromanage anything.
Yes, I agree 100%. I mean, even though I've not been in it, that's basically what I've said in my team. I'm like, as much as we want to grow an Atlas, right now, I want you to take the next month to get to know Atlas and build your troops, understand Primarchs, and so forth.
That's exactly it, because even now, we've had it for 2 or 3 months, and we're doing very well for ourselves, but even now, there's still silly little things that, that come up. We'll have a person that didn't realise, how the ratios for glory works and things like that. They were just attacking randomly, and the sooner you can get everyone on the same page, just the smoother it is, and to be frank, the less work it is for the officers.
No doubt. Okay, so what about leveling your castle versus leveling yourself? Which do you think is more important?
If you own land, I would always put a priority on leveling the castle first, because once you've got that castle, it benefits the entire team. If you've got level 2 land, you're not likely to have perhaps the highest tier teams come along and try to take it. But it does mean that it's a lot harder for people at your level to take the castle, especially the fort. The most important bit of infrastructure you've got is the fort. It makes your castle harder to kill. It makes your Primarchs take less damage. It makes you do more damage on your castle, and it makes you a far less appealing target. You also get the extra experience and things like leveling up the other infrastructure as well. I'd always recommend that, because the amount of levels it would take to get the bonus stats a fort gives you on a rusher, sieger, fighter, anything like that, I think it's about 5 or 6 levels on every single Primarch, whereas you can just get that buff on everyone by having a level 2 fort.
Wow. So you're saying, which I think I covered that in my last video, that the fort is going to be your bigger priority over than, for example, your refinery.
Yes, the fort helps you keep your castle. The refinery is a fantastic addition if you can keep your castle. If you lose it next week, the refinery's done absolutely nothing for you.
That's such a good point. All right, so when it comes to one piece of advice outside of taking it slow, what would you, if you gave like a 3-step guide to all the players that are just beginning or really haven't, got to understand, what would your 3-step tip be?
The first one is going to be a little bit of a state the obvious one, but I think it's something we all forget. Have fun with it. Learn it. Enjoy it. Experience it. Have some fun with it. A lot of the time we try to learn everything at once, and a lot of the time it gets confusing. We get a bit stressed when, we get all this new information thrown at us. It comes back to take it slow, but just make sure you keep the element of fun. Don't enforce every rule under the sun. Let your players have some fun. Encourage some glory hunting. Let them learn the ropes the natural way as much as you can safely. Because the last thing you want is everyone to go, oh my God, this is so confusing, I don't get it, I'm not having any fun, bleh. You just try and enjoy the process. Thing I would say is learn the Primarchs, learn what they're good at, learn how they interact with each other and what special moves they've got. Also have a think about what Primarch would work for your team. You really don't want a level 50 or 100 with a Taunter. You are literally painting a massive target on your castle saying, free glory here, please come murder us. Same with siegers. If you've got siegers, they're fantastic attacking troops. But because they're fantastic attacking troops, if they get hit, they just get wiped out. Don't keep those on your castle. You are inviting players that do like to attack other castles to attack you because you have something that has very low defence and therefore takes a lot of losses, and they get a lot of glory for it. Hide those in neutral zones nearby to keep them safe. Taunters, keep them on your strongest players. They don't have massively high defence, but they force everyone to attack them. And let's be fair, we've all looked at that level 400 and thought, you know what, I don't want any of that. And if you want to keep it simple, if you don't want to think about it, get yourself a destroyer. It does defending, it does attacking, it's balanced, it's easy, you don't have to think about anything. If you want to help your team, probably the most influential Primarch is the Rusher. Because anyone that attacks that is going to get the worst troop loss out of every Primarch because it's got the highest defence. Win or lose, you're killing more troops. Third thing I would say is to get to know your neighbours. If, like I said earlier, just get to know your neighbours, make them want to keep you. It's how we kept our first castle when we got there. We used to be attacked daily, as you'd expect a platinum team thrown into diamond and sapphires. We got our first castle during the land grab, and people wanted us to lose that castle very quickly. But we played nice with our neighbours, and before long we had 5 or 6 neighbouring castles going and come into our castle to defend us without even asking, because they knew we would look after them, we wouldn't attack them, and it just made a nice little neighbourhood watch, as we called it.
Oh, that's cute. So whenever you, like during the PvP right now, you can't attack castles. Now, we had one that was, you know, an enemy Primarch on our castle, but because they couldn't attack your castle, you could not attack it. So...
There is a solution. During a PvP event, you can drop your bubble and attack them and put it up with no cooldown. So if you go to your fort, you can disable the shield and kill the Primarch and then put the shield back up.
And it doesn't take any time at all?
No. If you did that outside of a PvP event, let's say, for example, enough of your troops were killed to pop your normal bubble, that would trigger the cooldown. So they've just changed it, or they're going to change it shortly. But essentially, if you pop a shield outside of an event, once that shield expires, you have to wait a cooldown before it can be used again. If you drop that shield early, it starts the cooldown immediately.
Awesome. All right, so if I have some people that want to ask you any specific questions, you, from what I understand, do some really cool live streams over on Twitch.
Yes, I do. It goes under my old username, Mistborn20. I occasionally do live streams with regard to sort of how Atlas works, what the basic functions are, where things are, and I also attempt to fly a house set, which never goes well.
I know what you mean. He's the fun one, though.
He's a fun one. He's a fun one, we'll call it that.
Yes, he is a fun one. All right, so, and then you also have YouTube, correct?
Yes, it's under the same name. On there I do have a couple of videos regarding a couple of different things, including something I call Primarch blinking, how to restore some troops from your Primarchs to your barracks. It is limited, it's not 100%, but there's ways you can do things like that, and just general Atlas gameplay.
Sounds to me like you're definitely a valuable person to watch. So I will be sure, of course, to put those links to your Twitch and your YouTube in the video description below. I really, really, really appreciate you coming in and helping everyone here today.
Not a problem at all.
All right.
It's been absolutely my pleasure.
Oh, no. Trust me, the pleasure was mine. And again, I thank you very much.
Not a problem at all.
All right, I want to say thank you again to Kavoth for coming in and doing some Atlas information with us. And remember, if you would like to get some more information from him or ask any questions, he does do live streams where you can ask lots and lots of questions over on Twitch. So you can go find him over there. I will be sure to put links to some of his videos in the comment section below so you can, the description below so that you can easier find him. So be sure to check out his Twitch. And then, of course, don't forget to hop on over to his YouTube. He does go over Atlas blinking with Primarchs. I think that this is going to be very useful for everyone. I plan on binge watching his videos. So be sure to go check it out. Again, you're going to be able to find him at Mistborn20 at either YouTube or Twitch. But again, I will put the links in the video description below. All right, so let's jump into this week's giveaway. Now, those that were already entered from last week are the only ones that can actually win the prize this week. So last week, I announced that we were going to have a new series here on my channel, which is going to be all about bloopers or autocorrect or whatever you might want to call it. With me, it's just Siri trying to make me look stupid or arrogant. I swear by it. So with that being said, the winner has actually already been chosen for this week's game pack. So if you want to be put into a $20 in-game pack for next week, make sure you check back next Tuesday for the details on that. All right, let's jump into a sneak peek of the upcoming series coming in this week and the 3 entries that entered in for this week's $20 in-game pack giveaway. Now, make sure you get some entries in too, because I will be doing surprise giveaways alongside of these, so be sure to check back on that. Now, let's go ahead and jump into the new series called...
What did you say? That's Chat Bloopers in War Dragons. What?
All right, so the first entry I got came from Gen Princess. A few days after she had entered her autocorrect, she had put a comment below and noticed that she said, "I still think the scaling needs to be more for high-level tiers. I still." So I think she meant to say, "I don't think the scaling needs to be more for the high-level tiers." Or maybe she said "do." I'm not for sure. That's when autocorrect makes everybody super confused. So she dills thinks something. All right, guys. So Jen Princess, thank you for your entry. And that is a funny one. All right, I've seen my share of some, mistake post in the LC, but here is a great example of this. So someone saying, "Follow me in if you can, please, but don't finish." And someone says, "Okay, but I have a wildfire ready. You back me, and then I'll back you." And someone's like, "And I will defend, LOL." And of course, Zuna entered this in with some big old laughy faces to clear this out. And I do want to let you know that I am going to block out names to kind of protect identities. But this is something that I've seen quite often. So this was a great way to show the bloopers that are in the game. The next one comes in from Laura Tomb Raider. Laura Tomb Raider had answered a question where her asked, so who are they going to appoint as an officer? And then he wanted to know what the opinions of the other players. So she goes to put in I'm sorry, I don't even know that Tomb Raider is a she, but we'll assume that they are. Said that they thought spermicide would make a really great officer. So, well, there is no spermicide. She meant spearman. And it's funny because it even shows you at the bottom where they're like, what are you talking about? So that is another great example of autocorrect trying to mess you over. All right, guys, these are all three great entries. Let's go ahead and go into this week's winner. All right, so who will this week's winner of the...
What did you say? That's Chat Bloopers in War Dragons. What?
Congratulations, Zuna. Your entry has been chosen for the winner of this contest. Now, you will be getting an in-game message from me in the next couple of days, maybe tomorrow, and then I will be sending up your information to War Dragons. And if for some reason you don't get your prize by Monday, be sure to send me a message and I'll look into seeing what's up with that. But I chose your entry because this is the perfect example of a serious blooper in War Dragons chats. Now, the thing is, especially with the new chat and the way it's all set up, I am seeing bloopers left and right and creating my own. It has been nuts. So be sure, guys, to get your entries in for the next one, which should be around the 13th of September. So it gives you about 30 days to turn in anything that you might see screenshot-wise to any of my social accounts, including Line, and I will get everybody tallied up and prepared for that one. Now, that will be the week that the favorite one will be voted on, and they will actually be the winner of that following Talk Dragon Tuesday video giveaway. All right. So many of you know of my beginner's guide video that I had started almost a year ago, which will be coming up very soon. Now, because I'm hitting my 1-year anniversary, this upcoming series that we have going on right now, Runes and Glyphs, will be the last of the beginner's guide series before we move into the next one. However, we do still have Atlas Explorer. All right, if you guys have not checked out this video, be sure to go check it out. We do have this coming up this week. I've been waiting for an update before I do this, as there are some updates coming when it comes to glory hunting rules, and I really didn't want to make a glory hunting video just for it to turn around and be obsolete within the week. So I'm hoping by the time I make this video for you guys on Friday, there will be an update. However, we don't know. They've not put out a new date. They've not put out any specific time frame that they're expecting this. So I know you guys are itching for another one, so I will not be putting it off anything beyond Friday, even if it means it's going to be expired a day later. So be sure to check back on Friday for glory hunting and keep your fingers crossed that the update comes before then. That would be great. And then because we didn't get around to doing one last week, we will actually be having a double feature, glory hunting on Friday, and then I'll either do a second one on Friday, and depending on how long this one takes, it may not be ready for the second Atlas video to come out until Saturday morning. So be sure to check back for the Atlas Explorer series. Now, guys, if you are enjoying the Atlas Explorer series, please show me your love and give me some thumbs up, comments, and more. And remember, supporting my channel is a huge help, so I want to thank all of you for all of your support. Guys, that's it for today's video. Don't forget, before you leave, if you liked my video, to give me a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to hit that bell for notifications. Happy hunting!